The secretary is surprised that the doctor used Jane's research in her project, so she goes to ask her about it. However, the doctor threatens to expose her, so the secretary gets scared and leaves her office. Later, as the project deadline approaches, John's friends ask Jane to rejoin the team, but she refuses because they didn't put any effort into the project. In the lecture, the team begins discussing the project in front of the doctor, who is impressed with their work. However, one of John's friends tells the doctor that they were part of the project and that they stole his work and kicked him out of the team. He talks about things that are actually in the project, and it turns out that he learned about them from a girl who saw Jane's laptop open and took a picture of part of it and sent it to him. Jane decides to confront him since she is the team leader, and she is nervous because she is afraid of crowds, but she remembers John's words and encourages herself. She starts arguing with his friends and is able to prove that they are lying, and the doctor is convinced by her words. He gives them full marks, and the team is happy with the success of the project, and they get closer. After that, Rand goes to see Yoon, and they keep teasing each other, so she hits him for not answering her calls. She sees them and gets upset because she likes Yoon. At night, John goes out with Jane to celebrate, and they keep drinking together. Jane starts hallucinating and confesses her true feelings to him. John is happy and gets closer to her, but she feels embarrassed and pushes him away. John is forced to carry her on his back and walks with her until he reaches her apartment. Later, he receives a call from Yoon asking to meet him. Yoon shows him a video of the chef firing him from work, which is posted online. He asks him if he did it. John confesses that he did it to get him his rights back. He expects Yoon to get angry, but Yoon surprises him and thanks him for what he did. John is happy with his words, and it's clear that they have gotten closer. The next day, Jane wakes up and thinks about what happened yesterday. She feels embarrassed and doesn't want to go to university, but she goes anyway. Her phone is dead, and she keeps looking for John. She runs into Chan by chance, and he walks with her and asks her to be his girlfriend again, but she refuses. At the same time, John tries to call her, but her phone is off. He sees them together and feels jealous, and he pulls her by the hand. He talks to her about what happened yesterday. At first, Jane pretends that she doesn't remember anything, but then she gathers her courage and tells him that she does remember, and confesses that she likes him. John is happy and hugs her, and he also confesses to her. They agree to be together, and they walk in front of everyone holding hands. There is a festival, and they watch Rand's team perform dangerous stunts, and they are amazed by her strength. Later, John participates in the festival and keeps singing, and everyone is amazed by his beautiful voice. But he keeps looking at Jane and focusing on her. Sia and Iran are sitting next to John, and they both like him. Sia tries to get close to him and asks him to go out with her, but he tells her that he is busy. Rand feels jealous and pulls him by the hand, and she takes him to her apartment. There, she has a surprise for them for his birthday. John comes and gives Jane a rose. Shia arrives. They keep singing and celebrating Yoon, and they are happy. They find Yoon embarrassed and not in the mood, so they push Rand into a cake and take pictures with her while laughing. Then, they play the truth game. When it's Yoon's turn, they ask him if he has any friends. He tells them 2.5. When they ask him who the half is, he says Jane, and they keep laughing. Then it's Jane's turn, and they ask her if she's related to John. She replies, yes. When the party ends, Sia keeps looking at John's picture, and it's clear that she likes him. Jane volunteers at the festival, and John helps her. They see his friends, and they decide to take advantage of him. They write a sign, whoever wants to take a picture with him pays money. A lot of girls gather, but John refuses and runs away from them. Later, he learns from Rand that she's applying to be his brother, the doctor's assistant. He gets upset and asks her not to apply. Jane is surprised and asks him if he knows her, but John refuses to tell her. He leaves her and walks away. Then, his friends take her as John's girlfriend and let some admirers harass her with words. When John finds out, he goes back to her and yells at them and protects her. He gets into a fight with his friends, but they beat him up and knock him to the ground. John remembers when his brother used to beat him up when he was little, and he decides to stand up again and keeps taking the beating. Then, John tells Jane that this is his true nature, and that he always gets beaten up and doesn't know how to defend himself. Jane embraces him, telling him she loves him and drives him home. Then she accompanies him inside and sterilizes his wound. She stays with him until he falls asleep. The next day, Jane visits him at home, bringing him medicine, and when he sees her, he hugs her. However, after the call, John realizes from his brother's voice that he is worried. When Jane ends the call, John confesses the truth to her, telling her that his brother treats him cruelly and is the person he hates most in the world because he used to abuse him when he was little. Jane feels shocked and saddened by his words. Later, she meets Yoon Ran, who surprises her with his violent behavior towards John's friends because of him. He hints to her that he has become John's friend and feels responsible. Afterward, one of John's friends tries to take advantage of him, asking him to live with him in his apartment because of his housing problems. But John refuses because he saw him hit Yun the day before and was not satisfied with the intervention. Then John goes to meet the friend who hit him and tells him he will report him to the police. But his friend threatens him that he will report Yun if he does so because he hit him because of him. John is surprised to learn that Yun fought because of him. He goes to thank him and tells him that he wished he had an older brother to defend him a long time ago. Suddenly, he receives a call from his brother informing him that their mother is sick and needs surgery on her back, and if the operation is not performed, she won't be able to walk again. He reassures him and asks him to focus on his studies and that he will handle it. He goes to take a form from the secretary to resign from the university and be able to work, and he goes to get his belongings. His brother comes and sees the place where he lives, feeling dismayed by his constant sacrifices for him. He tells him that he has decided to leave the police academy and work as well to bring in money because he won't let him suffer alone. But John refuses and tells him that he will take care of it, and his brother leaves while crying. John sees him and understands everything from him. Afterward, he learns that the costs of his mother's surgery have been covered, and he learns from his brother that John was the one who paid for it. Then, he asks Jane to meet him, and when she goes to him, he confesses to her that he loves her and wants her to be his girlfriend. But Jane tells him that it's too late, and she no longer loves him, and she is now committed to John. After that, she talks to Ran, and she tells her that she admires Yun, and Ran also discovers that she admires him. They both agree to confess their feelings, and Yun, who loves her, is chosen. Afterwards, the teacher meets Yun and tells him that he was once a student with similar problems and managed to overcome them, asking him not to refuse help because he has plenty of time and can repay anyone who helps him. Yun is affected by his words and calls John to meet him and thank him for what he did. They spend time together, exchanging conversations about their lives, and they show that they are close friends. Shia decides to confess her love to Yun and asks Jane for help. The next day, Jane invites Shia to dinner, and Shia tries to tell him about her feelings. Afterward, she asks him to talk privately, and when he agrees, she confesses her love to him. However, Yun apologizes to her that he doesn't have time for a relationship because of work. Shia cries, and Ran witnesses the situation. At night, Yun goes to collect his belongings from the accommodation and finds himself homeless, so he sleeps on the street and dreams of his deceased father embracing him and crying, telling him that he did everything he could to protect his mother and brother, but he felt tired. John receives a message from the bank and realizes that Yun has paid off all his debts, worrying about him and searching for him in the streets until he finds him, asking him to live with him in the accommodation. Yun initially refuses, but John insists until he agrees, and Yun sleeps on the couch from exhaustion, covered by John, feeling happy. Afterward, Shia tells Ran that she confessed her feelings to Yun and was rejected without consideration, causing her to start crying. Ran tries to calm her down, telling her that she envies her because she's afraid of confessing and being rejected and losing him. The next day, Yoon wakes up to find John has prepared breakfast for him, and they have it together. However, He is surprised that John bought the food at a higher price than it deserves, prompting him to ask Yoon to choose clothes with him to use, leaving Yoon astonished because all his t-shirts look alike. Later on, Jane finds herself in John's brother's office and sees him watching a video of John being beaten up, so she asks about it, and Jane tells him that he was defending her, revealing to him that she knows they are brothers, surprising him and making him realize that she is committed to John and that he was the one who informed her. After that, she goes to meet John and tells him that his brother asked about him and was interested in him. But she discovers from John that he pretends to be tough in front of people, while in reality, he is annoyed by him. Jane leaves to go to class, but she meets her friend, who apologizes to her for what he did and asks her to join him and the rest of the friends to apologize to her. Jane believes him and goes with him, and he leads her into a room and closes the door, starting to film her in a live video and writing that he is having a great time with his girlfriend. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and check out our other selection of recaps. Take care.